So the first exercise we're going to do is lying down, propping your knees up. This is going to be a simple pelvic tilt. So basically you're taking your pelvis and pushing it down into the ground. So you want to relax your back, relax your head so you're not picking up your head and stressing out your neck muscles. And you're going to imagine that you're pushing your belly button down to the ground. So your back ends up being flat on the ground. So that arch that's usually there when you're just lying there, push it and flatten it out. So if you need to put your hands underneath as a target, you can do that and push down. Now make sure you're not holding your breath. If you can't talk while you're doing it, then you're probably holding your breath. You're just going to rotate those hips back and push flat down, squeezing those tummy muscles almost like you're laughing at something, tightening them up. So just pushing down, hold for about 5 seconds, and then relax. You can do that for about 5 to 10 times and then build your way up. So after you do 5 seconds, then try 10 seconds the next day, and then 15 seconds until you work your way up to holding it for 30 seconds. So that's just a simple pelvic tilt. Now the next one is going to be holding the pelvic tilt. So you're flattening out your back and doing some movements with it. So pushing down nice and flat, and now you're going to slightly bring your foot up, and then at the same time bring the opposite arm back while you're keeping your back flat on the ground. A little bit harder than it looks, and just rotating back and forth. Again, this is going to really be working that core, so just start off with 5 to 10 and then work your way up. If you feel like your back is coming up and you're starting to arch a little bit, then take a break, because that means those muscles are getting tired. The last two are going to be stretches. You want to stretch out your back as well. Doing a flexion movement is what you want, because when that slip is forward, you don't want to extend your back because that's going to push it even more. So you want to do flexion type stretches. So you're just going to bring both knees into your chest as far as you comfortably can. You want to be relaxed. Don't fight it with the muscles. If you can get them far enough up, you can bear hug like this. Or if you can't go that far, you can just hold them about right here. Now, if you have knee problems, you can actually grab underneath your knees so you're not squishing those knees tight and causing some irritation in there. So you might want to hold here, and if you can, hold it for about 30 seconds and do that 3 times. So the last stretch is going to be for your hamstrings. You want to make sure and keep your hamstrings nice and stretched out and loose, because they're attached to your pelvis and your hips, and if they're tight, they're going to pull on that slippage some more and cause some more irritation. I have a hamstring stretching video that has a whole bunch of different ways to stretch out your hamstrings, so if you want to check that out, go ahead and check it out. But the one I'm going to show you today is with a belt. You can use a long beach towel, a belt, or even a dog leash. You're going to straighten your leg out, lock out that knee, try not to bend the knee, and you're just going to pull up as far as you comfortably can and hold that stretch for 30 seconds. Now make sure that you're wrapping it around the ball of your foot and not way up on your toes so it doesn't slip off and hit you. And just hold it for 30 seconds, 3 times. Make sure you do both sides to keep everything nice.
This is Dana Ranahan at Bodywork Sports Physiotherapy in North Vancouver, and we're here today to show you a video about neck stabilization exercises, or postural retraining. The deep neck flexors in the front of the neck are important to be strengthened to help balance out some of the tightness in the back of the neck that we suffer in our day-to-day lives, such as computer work or driving for long periods, or after a neck injury or whiplash injury. In this case, Holly here is going to demonstrate a technique that we use to help retrain the deep neck flexors. She's lying down now with a pillow behind her head and with a small towel rolled up behind her neck. And in this position, the deep neck flexors run deeply along the front of the neck. We want to teach her to do a little nodding exercise first, just like she's saying hello, yes, nodding back and forth. Give that a try, Holly. And then we're going to add in the idea that we're going to think about lengthening the neck. So as she nods her chin in, we're going to think about lengthening your neck as if someone's pulling a string through the top of the head and lengthening your neck out so that we get some stretch through the back of the neck as well. And usually with this, we work on breathing to keep the chest soft. So again, you can let it go, and then we think about nodding in, lengthening the neck, and maintaining for a hold of 5 to 10 seconds. In this case, we should probably feel a little bit of fatigue as we repeat it, and we work to aim for about maybe 10 or 15 repetitions, 2 or 3 sets. Demonstrated.
She's going to do a cobra, okay? So the plank, working on the abs, core strength. Tuck your chin a little bit, Allison. This is going to strengthen her whole spine. The majority you should feel is in your lower back, okay? Her feet are up, contracting her glutes, her thumbs to the ceiling in this position. You're going to, again, hold for 20 to 30 seconds. Great exercise. The next exercise she's going to do is a bird dog, okay? Overall core strength again. Going to work the shoulders, the hips. So what she's going to do again in this position is hold for 30 seconds, okay? Now we're not holding for 30 seconds today, but we're just demonstrating these are the exercises that you want to perform, okay? Good. Switch sides. Try to keep her leg a little bit lower, her arm up. Again, you want to focus on that straight line. Maybe have somebody watch your form in the beginning of doing these exercises. It's easy to do this one incorrectly, okay? You want your shoulder and hip. Shoulder and hip. I'm sorry about that. Shoulder and wrist in alignment, and then her knee and hip in alignment, okay? You don't want to be forward or back. Okay, next is the hip raise. What we're going to do is raise the hips up. This is also called the bridge. See her knee and ankle are in a straight line right there. I don't want her feet more underneath or more forward. Exactly. So bring them right in there. Perfect. Bring your arms up in front. You may feel this is kind of easy, right? If it is easy and you want to challenge it, I recommend to go on one leg. Now this is the thing, if you go on one leg and the hips drop and you can't get them up to complete contraction in that position, it's too hard for you. So work your way into this. So go back to the double leg. There you go, good. Knees are in, okay? Again, working the glutes, great exercise. Awesome. Okay, that was our floor routine for core and posture, keeping us upright. What you can do is, you can vary the tension. The closer in, the more challenging you're going to be. Going to pull apart. You got straight arms, pulling apart, working the whole upper back. Perfect. Good stuff. Nice job, Allison. Now when you're doing this, I want to make sure your wrists are nice and straight. I don't want to be bending them and contorting them. Is that a word, contorting?
I think we just made a new word.
Good stuff, good stuff. A little side view. Yep, coming all the way to the chest. Again, the arms are straight. You don't want to be bending the elbows as you're doing it. This is working the rear deltoid upper back. Going to help with keeping that nice and upright posture. Okay? Another one that I thought would be very beneficial is a side raise for the shoulders. We're just going to do one arm. Some people out there using the blue band, it's struggle to go both at the same time. So as you can see, Allison here, her elbow is slightly bent, only coming up to shoulder height. Nice, good job, looking good. You want to increase the difficulty of this? We're going to put it right in the middle, your foot in the middle of the tension. Just go on one foot, Allison. There we go. Exactly. Right there, keeping that tension. So don't come down to the hips. Probably about 6 inches off the hips. Come back up. Elbows are bent slightly. Shoulder height. Good. Nice. Okay, and relax. That's good. Again, one about, on these might be more.
First one you can do is resisted dorsiflexion. Dorsiflexion is just pulling the toes up towards the shin bone here. Okay, you can do this really fancy with like a band anchored to a wall and like pull against it. That's all well and good. Another way you can really easily do it is sit cross-legged like this, pull down on your toes and use these muscles in the front of your shin here to pull your toes up, just providing enough resistance via your hand here to make these muscles in the front of the shin really work. Don't pull down too hard. This next one is plantar flexion. For this, you're going to do the exact opposite as the dorsiflexion. You're going to actually pump the toe downwards. The easiest way to do this is with by using the exercise a calf raise. Okay, so you basically just come up on your toes like that. That one's pretty simple. This one's hip adduction, meaning towards the midline, towards the center of the body, ADD, adduction. This is basically what you're going to do. You're going to lay like this and then just raise the legs straight up like this. 15 reps like that. And then you're also going to switch and do hip abduction, like away from the midline. Abduct like aliens. That's spelled with a B, A-B. Not that you need to know that, but people oftentimes get that confused. You're going to move from right here straight up in the air like this. Very simple stuff here. 15 reps for this one. Now I'm going to show you some progressions for ankle stabilizations that are outside of the basic ones I just showed you. So this first one is very simple, but it's extremely effective at stabilizing the ankle, and it's just a single leg balance like this. Okay? You'd be amazed how many people struggle with this that have had ankle injuries because their ankle stabilizers are all locked up. So for this, and for the rest of the time ones that I'm going to show, you can do these for sets of 30 seconds instead of repetitions. But that's the first progression in that. Okay, the next one you can do is, once you've mastered that, and you can stand on your leg for 30 seconds for multiple sets without falling over, close your eyes. Okay. Having the eyes closed makes this a lot more challenging because your ability to stabilize and balance is really reliant on your visual, your eyes, basically, your ability to see. So if you can't see, it makes your stabilizers work a lot more, and it helps your body develop more proprioception, which is basically your ability to like balance when it gets boiled down. Okay, so that's the first exercise right here. Second one, doing that with eyes closed. And then, if you really want to progress, you can get on a stability pad. This is just like a cushion that makes the surface kind of like malleable, so it's hard to stand on this. You can move to something like this. However, I'm not a big fan on training in unstable environments like this until you've mastered being able to balance on a stable surface like the ground. It really makes no sense to do that on this pad or even something like a Bosu ball if you can't even do it on the ground first. So if you reach up to that point, this is the next progression. If you can do this with your eyes closed on the ground for multiple sets of 30 seconds without falling, then maybe hop on there and do that with your eyes open. And then once you master that, go back to closed on there or on a Bosu ball. This is one that I really like, the single leg deadlift, okay? Single leg RDLs. This is a very complex exercise that I'll probably have to make a totally another video for in the future. But this is basically how it's done. You stand on one leg, make sure that knee is somewhat soft. You don't want to be completely like locked out with it. Somewhat soft knee, pinching the kettlebell really, really hard, packing the chin in like this. And what you do here is you basically just hinge forward till you're about halfway down, and then you come back up, okay? Just like this. Trying to keep your hips stacked on top of each other. You don't want to open up your body like that. You want to keep everything pointing straight down. A common mistake people make with this is they'll lock out the knee and they'll also go all the way down to the ground with like a kettlebell. You don't need to do that. Start off with just your body weight. Stop about halfway down your shin or maybe just below your knee, and that'll be fine. For this exercise, 15 reps. There you have it, people. I'd recommend you start with all of those exercises and kind of as you go along, discern which ones are giving you the most benefit. And then kind of stick to those. So maybe pick like 3 or 4 of them that are giving you the most bang for your buck and incorporate those into your regular routine. You'll know that they're giving you, they're more effective than other exercises for you specifically. If you all of a sudden, your movement patterns feel different, like squats feel better, or if you had pain somewhere in like your knee or something like that and it went away, and basically you can attribute that to like one exercise. If you can do that, then yeah, you can definitely narrow some of those exercises down because you don't need to do all of those. Most likely you're gonna just need to find the right ones that work for you. And then once you identify them, you want to keep them in your routine. However, if I had to pick two, I would keep the single leg deadlift in there, and I would also work on the single leg balance, and then maybe progress into the single leg balance with eyes closed. If you like this video and you're not yet subscribed to my channel, then go ahead and do that right over here. Also, I would really appreciate a like on Facebook and a follow on Instagram. I'll include links to both of those things in the description down below. Lastly, if you want me to be your coach, then go ahead and open up the link below that says coaching. Purchase a posture assessment. Once we get that going, I'll help you identify all of the muscular imbalances that you have that are distorting your posture and movement, and we'll be able to fix them. Other than that, have a good one.